Welcome to Wind Down and Focus. We are Annette and Christina, photographers with over 15 years of experience in portraits, branding, and senior sessions. We're here to share everything we've learned along the way.
We focus on creating genuine, memorable moments through the lens and can't wait to bring you tips, stories, and behind the scenes from our photography journeys.
Each episode, we'll chat about photography tips, stories, and fun, all while sipping wine.
So grab a glass, sit back, and join us for some casual conversation, laughs, and photography goodness. Let's wind down and focus.
I'm Annette.
And I'm Christina.
So today we're going to be talking about spring recap and the craziness that both of us have had with spring obsessions and all the stuff. Just kind of ad-lib this one a little bit.
Yes, this one's more, just us kind of like recapping, talking about everything, and apologizing for missing a week because of the spring craziness.
Yes.
So, what do you want to do first?
Well, obviously we want to drink some wine and talk about it.
That's right. Okay. So I tried something new because we've been doing a lot of total wine and then we had our margaritas.
Yes.
So I just decided to hit up the Trader Joe's.
There we go. That's a great place too.
Everybody loves a Trader Joe's. Where we live, it's about 30 minutes from our house.
Do they have them other places, states?
It's based out of California.
Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
But if we have them in Missouri and
then
I'm sure most states have them.
If you don't have one, you're missing out.
You're missing out. So the wine that we purchased is Trader Joe's Platinum Reserve Yountville Cabernet Sauvignon. Obviously, the grapes that are used, just going through my list, is solely Cabernet Sauvignon. And the region that it's from is the Yountville region, which is inside of Napa Valley, which is inside of Napa County on the Californian North Coast. The price for this wine is, get this, $14.99.
That's a good price.
Which, if you have been to Napa Valley, there's not a lot of wines that are that price that are actually reasonable. Do you want to talk about what we thought of it? And then I'll go and get into the description?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We had some sharp cheddar cheese and multigrain crackers with it, which complemented it pretty well.
Yeah.
I guess it described being oaky, which that's definitely what I got. I would say overall it complemented it. It didn't change.
It didn't change.
No.
But it's just a nice, easy drinking cab.
Right.
You know?
Yep. It's good.
I feel like it has a little bit of a bite to it, which you kind of want with a cab, boldness to it.
Yep.
But yet it's not, I don't feel like it's over alcohol-y. Like when wine has more of an alcohol bite to it that you're kind of like,
yeah. I definitely tasted oak.
Yeah.
Oakiness.
The first thing that I read was on this website called Reverse Wine Snob, which I am citing them because they gave some really good information. So definitely check them out if you want information on wines that you're drinking. So here's what they said about this. They said, Yountville on the cheap. We review the 2023 Trader Joe Platinum Reserve Yountville Napa Cabernet. It's a lot 115. So side note, my knowledge is Trader Joe's buys these wines from people who just make wine in general and mostly probably sell to the public and they might have a little tasting room with their own little wine, but they probably make most of their money doing this for places like Trader Joe's and stuff like that. Lot 115, basically, if you can track down what actual place this came from, which on the back, it kind of tells you, but it just says vinted and bottled by ATC Wines, which that's another company that's going to have multiple vineyards within it. So it's hard to kind of say who actually really did it, but lot 115 gives you a little bit more information. So that's what I can tell you. Yountville is a prestigious AVA area within Napa Valley. It's surrounded by Mount Verdier, Oakville, and Stag's Leap, which are very well-known areas for Cabernet in the Napa region. All these areas primarily produce Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlots. The price of this wine is very hard to combine these areas. So, again, it's like, that's why you love Trader Joe's, because they give you good things for good prices. So what is AVA, you ask? Did you ask that question? I know you did in your head.
Maybe in my head.
AVA in the context of wine stands for American Viticultural Area. It is a designated wine grape growing region within the United States, defined by geographic, geologic, and climate features.
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but let's first talk about the taste of the wine. What you read online that it should taste like is opening up with ripe berry, cola spice, Tasting the wine reveals a little bit of that berry, but integrated into that spice and oaky notes. Annette got a lot of the oakiness. It says that this is a wine that should be able to age and taste better while it ages. We did not age it. I will tell you, does it say what year it is? It says 2023. So we aged it 2 years.
Yeah, there you go.
But they did say that it would age longer than that. We just didn't want to wait that long. We wanted you guys to know what it tasted like right now.
Yes.
So a little bit more facts about Yountville. It is considered the culinary heart of Napa Valley. The small town of Yountville was a site of Napa Valley's first planted grapevines. Yountville's microclimate has its own AVA, which we already said. And then lastly, Yountville is the home of the French Landry, which is a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and it boasts numerous other Michelin restaurants within downtown Yountville. Yountville is considered by many food critics to be home of some of the finest restaurants in the world. So, guys, you don't know this, but we're going to go to Napa for Annette's birthday in 2026.
Can we just say maybe 40? Let's say 40.
No, dirty 30.
There you go. It's a decade birthday of some sort.
So we're going in 2026 in September. So, you know, that is everything in a nutshell with this wine. And if you find yourself at a Trader Joe's and you can find it, I would say anywhere you buy wine from, if you can find a cab from the Yountville region and it's within your budget, definitely try it because I've never been disappointed.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
I would definitely buy it.
Good.
If you go to Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
TJ's.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's that. That's your wine.
All right. So let's get into our crazy spring.
All right. You go first. You start us off.
Where we're located, we're in St. Louis area. We're in a suburb of St. Louis.
Yes. 45 minutes.
45 minutes. And we've had a lot of rain. You know, I usually have a lot of senior sessions, which it's hard to book those in the spring because everybody thinks spring is March and April, which it is. But there's nothing on the trees. There's no flowers.
March is not a pretty month.
It is not. Not here. No. But they think that. But what they really don't understand is it's more like mid-May, sometimes into May, but especially with all the rain we've had.
Well, and a lot of times June looks springish because June's not quite hot enough. Summer, I don't think technically happens until like June 21st.
Yeah. So we've had a lot. We've had a lot of rain. So I had a lot of seniors that were, you know, reschedules upon reschedules upon reschedules. So now it's been crazy because they're all
graduating.
They're graduating, but they're like stacked. Their reschedules are now stacked on top of each other and they're getting ready to graduate. So trying to get all that done, plus do the cap and gowns.
What do you do at your cap and gown sessions? How long do those like last? And
it depends. So if they're part of my senior squad, they're only a 15-minute session. It's a really quick session. Everybody else, they can schedule it. It can be 30 minutes. It can be an hour if it's a group. And then we go to typically the school and do the field if it's available around the school.
And just fun things with the gown and the
cap. Yeah.
Like
throw the cap, get all the girls together, get them in the stadium, get the school name obviously showing. But a lot of times, sometimes they want to go to the park too. So last year we went to a park first and did like the college t-shirt. And then we went to the school. We did do some sparklers on the field, which I learned do not do that because one of the girls almost dropped the sparkler. And I was like, no.
Ooh, that's going to be expensive.
Right.
To fix the field.
I don't need to set the thing on fire. So I will not be doing that in the future. But that was a lesson learned. So yeah, I have those. I have a few of those this week. You and I both did a graduation.
Yes, we did.
/ Maypole, which neither one of us had ever done one.
We've never done one. So
why don't you explain the Maypole?
Okay. As best I can.
Right.
You really just want to Google it. The area we live in is very Catholic dominant.
I would say so.
And we have a lot of nice Catholic schools. And we have, you know, Catholic all boys schools and Catholic all girls schools. And the girl ones do this Maypole event, which is a German event. To my knowledge, it stems from German roots. These girls go to a beautiful high school in our area called Villa Duchesne. And when they graduate their senior year, they have this thing called a Maypole event. And they wear these beautiful all white gowns. They all get to pick whatever gown they want. I think the only criteria are their floor length and like their gowns. So that they're ball gowns. So they, you know, they poof. Nobody was in anything skinny.
There were some that were like more of an ivory. One of my girls was more ivory than white.
Yeah. But everybody had a strap of some kind. None of them were strapless.
Right.
So those are probably, my guess would be the two main criterias, but then otherwise you can have it look however you want to want it to look. Some girls had ones that looked more tully. Some girls had ones that were just more satiny. And
some were very, simple, and others,
were
a little bit more done up with some diamonds or whatever.
Yeah. And every girl wore their hair down. I did notice that. Nobody wore their hair up. Some of them wore it fully down. Some of them wore it down with it pulled back just a little bit in the front.
Right. Some had the braids going.
Yeah, you definitely pulled
back. Oh, what? Mine had her hair pulled back.
Oh, she did?
The one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
A lot of mine did.
I didn't notice very many. I didn't notice her then.
Yep.
There were 40 something girls that graduated from this class. So there was a decent amount of number, but not a ton.
No.
So they also graduate in these dresses.
Yes.
So Annette and I went the night before and photographed them before graduation. Annette got to stay through graduation. Yes. My family only had me prior, and then I went home. Her family asked her to stay through graduation.
Yes.
So she got to see the whole procession.
Which was cool. I mean, it was very simple, but long and simple, I should say. And you can't really move around a whole lot, so you're kind of stuck right there for a little bit. Were the
speeches and everything good? Did they have a valedictorian and somebody else speak?
Yes. So there was 2 speeches, and then they started announcing them to come down. And some of the grandfathers gave the diploma because they were either on the board at one point, so they give the diploma to their grandkids. Pictures was a lot easier after. It wasn't a lot of people. You could go places where stuff wasn't in the background. Whereas when we did the Maypole, it was like a photographer nightmare because it
felt paparazzi like.
Yeah. How many photographers would you guess there were?
20.
Yeah. If not more. Like, I feel like some were hidden, like sitting in the crowd, with their people.
For only 40 something girls. And like Annette had 2 girls. I had 3 girls, but I had a second shooter I brought with me because I knew I couldn't handle all 3 girls by myself. And I think, so if you're thinking like 20 something photographers and each had 1 or 2 girls, that's all the girls.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're trying to get pictures of them by this pole with the ribbon beforehand, but then after, and it's a hot mess.
Pretty chaotic. And one of the moms warned me that it was going to be pretty chaotic at the end. And it wasn't until you're in it that I'm like, oh, this is chaotic. And there's ribbon on the ground that you're tripping over.
Right.
So I'm trying to rush from one girl to the other, and I'm tripping over 5 different ribbons that are laying on the ground. And I'm like, I'm going to twist an ankle while I'm trying to get to my other girl.
Just being on the hill, like trying to get them.
Yes.
And they go in a circle. So you're trying to you're trying to find your girl because they kind of all look alike, and you're trying to get pictures of her, and they're just going in the circle.
They're all beautiful 18-year-old girls where we'll say maybe 80% of them have a blonde, mostly tinged to their hair.
Mostly blonde.
And they're all in, for the most part, mostly the same dress outside of like, is it satin? Is it not satin? Straps different.
Yes.
The other thing is the Maypole has five colors or 4 colors. I think it had green, yellow, pink, blue.
I think that was
I think it only has 4 colors. So you kind of were like, okay, I know my girl's in green, so I can at least focus in on that. And so I narrowed it down to the 12 girls instead of, the 40 something girls. But yeah, they come all down in like stages, and then they do this like really cool dance. Like there was like
for
a
30 minutes.
It was it was nothing I've seen before. It was very cool, and it's just fun to see stuff that you don't ever see. I've always known of it. I've always known that was done, but I never physically had like seen it. So it was kind of cool. And the girls seemed to really like it. They were like having fun. They were smiling.
One of mine was like, I'm glad I snapped a few of her because she was just kind of straight faced. And then she starts like, I would get a few of her smiling. And I told her afterwards, I'm like, were you trying to concentrate really hard? And she was like, yeah. Yeah. It definitely was. Kept joking. Where's Waldo?
I know. So Annette and I were standing by each other, each photographing our own girls. And we'd be like talking to each other. I'm like, I lost mine. She's like, yes. I lost mine too. I'm like, oh no, wait, I found her. Okay, there she is. Okay.
Because not only are they moved around, the ribbons are all over the place too.
So they do a dance before picking up the ribbons.
Yeah.
And so you can find them easier. And, imagine a clock, everybody. And, your girl starts out, your one girl, let alone you have 2 or 3. Your one girl starts out at 3 p.m. on the clock. And then before you know it, she's at 9 p.m. And then she's back at 6 p.m. And then she's at 12 p.m. And you're like, and so then you're doing that for each girl that you have.
Right.
And then pick up the ribbons, and they're doing the same thing, but they're doing ribbons in a circle. So then you have the ribbons going around in front of everybody and tying the ribbons around the pole. So from a photographer perspective, you definitely have to really hone in on who is your girl, make sure you get her, and then just enjoy the event in the 25. I think it only took like 25 minutes.
Yeah. It wasn't too long.
No.
It was a little chaotic.
And it was super cute. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
You're
good.
I just thought about this. It was super cute. They have basically like a second prom afterwards.
Oh, right. Yeah. Down in Forest Park, which is our really beautiful big park in downtown St. Louis. I think I mentioned this in previous episodes, bigger than Central Park. I like to always mention that. They all had their own dates. Oh, that's the other thing. Sorry. I'm getting excited now. Yeah.
So not only their dates that they have, which are boys from other schools, their parents. So we told you that there's 4 colors.
Right. And they have the ribbons tied around their waist.
And then the parents or the family members that are sitting all wear the same color the color of their child's ribbon. So you're looking out at your family and your family's all wearing blue because you're in a blue ribbon. And then your date that shows up is wearing, all the boys were super cute.
They were super cute. And they had flowers.
They did. They all brought bouquets of flowers.
Yeah. And these girls had like a lot of flowers, but go ahead.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, you're good. I feel like I'm talking a lot, so you jump in whenever.
No, the boys had to wear their colors, didn't they?
Yeah. The boys wear pants. And every boy seemed to wear a pair of pants that matched their girl. And then I feel like they all wore like navy jackets. At least all the ones I noticed.
Yes. And I don't know if they were like from a private school. Right. And that was, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. But I know that a lot of them at the end would have baskets to put their flowers in, but the ones that didn't have a basket were like holding all these bouquets of flowers, which now I understand the basket part of it. So
yeah, when I was Googling beforehand, I saw some pictures of girls holding baskets of flowers. I'm like, okay, all right. And then at the end, when I saw them being like, every single person who came to watch you basically gave you a bouquet of flowers. I'm like, I get it now.
Yeah, it's lots of flowers.
It's like a funeral amount of flowers.
Yes. Well, and so as we're talking about spring and the weather, it was supposed to rain. And as we're there, it started thundering and it was moving in, and we were just praying it wouldn't come down on us.
It hit us.
Yes. Yeah. And I saw a little covered porch across the way. I'm like, that's where we're going.
Yes.
So, but thank God it did not. Waited until 9 o'clock at night.
It did. But we've had a lot of tornadoes in our area.
Yeah, we recently had the one that hit St. Louis.
Yes, which downtown St. Louis does not typically get hit with tornadoes. Yeah. I don't think they've been hit for tornadoes in decades.
Right.
And they got hit with a tornado a couple of spots in downtown St. Louis
It killed like five people was the last I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the storms came through again last night. Once we got home and stuff.
My daughter had tornado sirens. Yeah. She lost power. Yeah,
it's scary.
It's been so we're not joking when we've said we've had a lot of weather and rain.
We really have.
This past spring.
And if you live in an area that does not know what tornadoes are or has never experienced a tornado, I can tell you it can be scary.
It can be scary. Yeah.
I have a part of me that is kind of like whatever because I've lived here my whole life.
Right.
And like, it's not going to hit me.
But we never used to get that many. No. And now we've had quite a few. So now I think we take it more seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we used to just, sirens going off. It's fine.
It's fine. Keep drinking. It's fine.
But now it's like, oh, well.
You got to go to the basement
It could really touch down. So we should probably go in the basement.
Yeah. So lots of sessions rescheduled. Your schedule, my schedule, we have been just insane with trying to fit everybody in, especially for you with seniors. I've had a couple seniors I've had to fit in, but then I've also had just families in general that
have to reschedule
3 different times, which obviously it's not as big of a deal with a family session because you can push those off a lot easier, but at the same time it's just annoying. It's annoying to be like, I'm so sorry we can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's kind of and it's kind of draining because I can get the sessions in now I got to get the editing and the order sessions and all that in, and they're graduating, and so I'm sorry it's going to be a little late because I need 2 of me or 3 of me because I can't do all that editing done in that amount of time before they graduate. But it's just been the weather, which now that is our friend Rita says she does not do spring senior sessions because of the rain and because of that.
She does want to be in this exact predicament.
Right.
That's very smart, Rita.
But I have kids that want spring because I think they're thinking those flowers, but they really don't get those till May anyway.
They don't get that till they graduate.
Yes.
They need to do it May of junior year.
Right. Or like the beginning of summer or something.
Right after junior year ends.
Yes. Yeah. Because just they don't understand. And so I did have to do one we did in the studio, and we got some really cool shots. And thankfully she wanted some studio. So that worked out. And then we went right out back the studio after because the rain had subsided some, and got a couple pictures out back really quick.
While Annette talks, I'm pouring her and I wine, which may or may not
show up in the final.
So if you hear something at the final, because I'm pouring
It's
me
wine. We need more.
Talks.
I guess I make you drink. No, kidding.
Oh no, sorry, I gave you more. Hold on. Or I gave me more. Let me give you more.
Oh, you're good.
You guys, you got to make it even.
Yeah.
Got to always make it even. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So my spring's been crazy and it's still going. So I'm hoping to get everything done soon. Enjoy some lake in summertime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for summer. I'm going to not your Lake of the Ozarks.
Okay. Yeah.
With friends of ours that we do. I think this will be our 4th summer in a row that we've done it together with them. We're actually going during the week too.
Oh yeah. Well, you need to do that Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because Lake of the Ozarks. I'm sure most people.
And Ozark was not filmed down at Lake of the Ozarks, but
no, not at all. It was still filmed on the West Coast, but yeah, Lake of the Ozarks can get a little crazy. And I feel like most people all around the country kind of have heard in some way, shape, or form Lake of the Ozarks. It's been on the news for people dying in crazy boat crashes.
Well, and I think that does happen because there's a lot of drunks down there. And then, you got the Party Cove, which I've only been to probably like 2 times.
Yeah, and I haven't been there since I was like in my late 20s.
I would say I was early 20s, and that was enough for me not to go back. We were in a 24-foot boat, and we felt like we were going to get capsized. So
because
I don't like it. So we go to a beautiful lake down in Mountain Home, which I really don't want to say it because I don't want to.
Don't tell people the lake.
Get people there, but they're all over. It's broadcasting now in St. Louis, so I'm scared. It is.
Don't even say the state. They can just all they know is Mountain Home.
It's a beautiful. Well, it could be 2 in Mountain Home because they both go to Mountain Home. But it is a beautiful lake. You can see through the water. It's not busy. The past we're on 11 years now that we've been going. It's gotten busier, but nowhere near. Sometimes you have the lake to yourself for a day.
Well, she has invited us down there, thankfully, the last few years, and it is literally like glass. And to bring it back from a photography perspective, I have watched her do a photo shoot on a boat on the water, which I was like, I would never even trust myself to bring my camera onto a boat. And she brought her light. And a light pole that I was holding for her.
Me. We did a family, we did the wakeboarding one.
Yeah, and they turned out really good. Really good.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you're a photographer that can get on a lake, you can get some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. It's fun.
And it's very different. Very different.
It is. It's not like the Ozarks. So.
That's not. It's not. Well, and people who own boats, I mean, you spend more on your boat than you do in a car. Or if not exactly the same.
Right,
and so, you want to like show that off in a way,
Right. And all our friends down there, that's what, their kids, that's part of who they are and what they brought their kids up for or with. So they want to show that and incorporate it into their senior pictures or their family pictures or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Very cool. Yeah.
And it gets you out outside your comfort zone. You're doing something different.
For sure. Yeah. On a water with a bobbing boat and a camera and a flash. Midday sun.
Oh, yeah. We had full sun that day, didn't we? Yeah.
There's that many clouds. I just love how clouds are so pretty, but then when I actually want them, they're not there.
So we learned this from our workshop with Nathan. And I do this all the time down at the lake. So you can do the sky replacement.
Yes.
And so on Photoshop, and I take a lot of pictures from the lake of the clouds.
And she has been very nice and shared them with me because when she's out on that water,
they're very awesome.
Full sky views. There's nothing impeding the beautiful clouds. There's no buildings. There's no mountains. There's no,
and they're just and the water is helping. Like they're just beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have a lake, think about that. Go up and take a picture of all the clouds and save it and put it in your sky replacement.
Yep. Anytime you see any beautiful clouds, take a picture of it. And then if you don't know how to do it, it's an easy Google thing, Photoshop sky replacement.
And there's like you can upload.
Upload. So Photoshop already has sky replacement as an option, but then it has generic clouds you can pick.
Yeah.
But you can add your own personal clouds files to that list.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about is adding those personal cloud files. And that makes it even that much more unique to give a client a picture that you add clouds to.
Yeah. Well, and like we were told, if clients don't recognize like the ones that are already in Photoshop, the default ones, but a photographer will.
That's true. Yeah.
So they say, or don't use them because a photographer will know.
Don't use the defaults because another photographer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think that, I think they give you like 7 or 8 maybe. And depending upon
you can buy
the
them off.
mood and everything of your picture, those 7 or 8 might not match what you want anyways.
Right. Yeah. So you got to make sure you're getting lighting right with your image.
Correct.
The lighting and the color with your image and the sky. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want dark and moody with pretty fluffy Ross clouds.
Yes. Like that's just no. And you can't have like a bright blue cloud and then a really pinkish,
right?
Like
setting or hue of the skin tone or what have you.
You gotta match all of that to make it look right. So that's a little tip on that. So
that's a good one. Let's think of any other tips we can think of while we're doing this little episode.
Yes.
What are some other tips? I will say, so I use Lightroom. Annette and I both use Photoshop.
Yes.
My main early editing is Lightroom. And then from there, I go into Photoshop for certain things. Annette is
Camera
Raw, Bridge.
Yes.
And then into Photoshop. So
I use Photoshop a lot.
Yes.
I'm more Photoshop than you are. I do the lighting and exposure and everything in the Camera Raw, which Camera Raw basically is Lightroom.
Right.
It's just basically the same thing.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do most of my stuff in Lightroom and then I'll do tweaking in Photoshop.
I do my removal of stuff and
and it's really just what you get comfortable with using. Yeah. I like Lightroom's ability to batch things. And the past 3 years, Lightroom has gotten really good at adding in Photoshop features.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah.
To take out one more step of me needing to go into Photoshop afterwards. Like they have a really good denoise feature right now.
Oh, yeah. So Camera Raw does too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That I have not found Photoshop's to be nearly as good as Lightroom's version. Like those, I'll tell you, I'll bring it back to the Villa Duchenne pictures. I was using a 500 millimeter lens to get really tight in on my girls, but that lens, the more you zoom in on it, the tighter the aperture gets. So when I was zooming in on my girls, my aperture got up to like f.5.6, f.7.
Yeah, if you're all the way zoomed, it goes to 7.0.
So I was upping my ISO to compensate for that.
Because it's really heavy, so it shakes.
Yeah.
So you have to have that shutter speed up to help with that.
But then when I took the big group shot at the end with my wide angle lens, which did not need that high ISO, everything was happening so fast that I did not change my ISO.
It was high.
And it was high and so when I zoomed in on it, it was really grainy. So I did the denoise on it and erased all of the noise. And it was perfect. It was awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Lightroom does that. What else does Lightroom do? So everybody knows Photoshop now has its AI feature,
right?
Which is nice. Lightroom has been trying to get their AI feature better and better. When I take my shelter dog photos, I usually have a leash pretty much in every photo of the dog.
Right.
I used to bring every single dog into Photoshop and hand erase or hand circle an AI it out. Now I can do it within Lightroom, which granted, I'm still doing it to each image, but when you're in Lightroom, it's a camera roll. So they're all open at once. So
right.
It's,
versus
you know what I mean?
open. Yeah.
And I just highlight it, remove, highlight, remove. So I've been really happy with the forwardness that Lightroom has been getting in the last year and a half, 2 years, I'd say.
Yeah, it's all getting good. Like the generative fill, you have to really, that's in Photoshop. You have to remove stuff.
Yes.
You need to be either, I find it more helpful just to hit enter, not put anything.
I've started doing that more and more.
Because it turns out better.
Yeah.
Or you need to be very specific.
Yeah.
And keep trying because sometimes it just
and I found weird. If I tried and it didn't work, if I make a bigger circle and
then it takes
more information,
yeah,
then it does a little bit of a better job.
Yeah. I would say that would probably, So like the girls, I gave the girls some sneak peeks from graduation and there were so many people there taking pictures in the beginning. So I took them around the side, which happened to be in shade, but there were some golf carts back there. Like, it's fine. I'll remove those. And I was able to remove those. Fine. You can't tell. And they were like, you did remove those. Cause I told them it's fine. And so they understood that I knew what I was doing, I guess.
Right. One of the girls I photographed yesterday, I took her in front of the school, but like 50 feet in front of the school. So like I had more of the school behind her. And there was like 5 people up on the school stairs.
Yes.
And I was like, we'll remove them. And the dad was like, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. It's fine. But then later, like 20 people showed up. I'm like, well, now we're getting a little iffy.
Now the building might look a little reconstructed.
So there is a leeway in doing it. Don't just think you can remove 50 people.
Right.
It needs something to pull from.
Yeah.
So if like for instance, one picture that I worked on today in Photoshop, or actually no, it was in Lightroom. It was a photographer standing in front of me. So it was at the back of a person holding a camera, and they were covering up the grassy knoll in front of me, and they were covering up part of a brick wall. And I highlighted that person and their camera, and I told Lightroom to erase them. But Lightroom had the grassy knoll from the other part of the photo, and it had the wall from the other part of the photo to know this is what it should look like.
Right.
Versus if there was 50 photographers and no grassy knoll and no wall, it couldn't figure it out. Yeah. So there's, it can only do so much.
It's really awesome, but that's not perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grassy knoll makes me think of Kennedy.
Sorry. Oh gosh.
Okay. Any other recaps? What do we have coming up?
Summer.
We do have summer coming up.
We
have a couple interviews lined up.
Yes.
They're going to be surprises because we're talking to more than one different photographer and stuff, and we're trying to figure out dates for everybody because summer is going to be busy for everybody.
But we'll have some good topics. And again, if you have a topic, let us know.
Yes, for sure. Please reach out to us and say, Annette, Christina, let's talk about this.
And if we don't know it, we'll get
somebody who does.
Somebody that does.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which I did. I have a recap. So,
go.
On Shutterfest, I mentioned Joey Thomas. So I did have a phone call with him. So he is a photographer, but he's also a business coach. And he does know his stuff. So that went very well. So if you're looking for some type of coach, I do highly suggest him. You can set up like a complimentary phone call, and it's well worth it because he gives you a bunch of information. Yeah. But it's good.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. He was one of the instructors that we talked about in our Shutterfest episode.
Yes.
He's been at Shutterfest a handful of years, hasn't he?
He said, did he say it's his like 9th or 10th?
Okay.
I think
sense.
8th, maybe 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them.
A lot of them. Probably almost as long as you.
Do you have, so before we end, do you have any fun sessions off the top of your head coming up that you're excited for?
I just have a bunch of cap and gowns. And then I have a couple more seniors left, surprisingly, because of all the rain.
Yeah.
Really, it won't start up till probably midsummer or September with all the next year seniors. I do know banners should start up for summer, but the problem is our school has decided to go with, I won't say the name, has decided to go with the company, and they are going to do all the
one mass producing photography company versus letting people choose their own independent photographer, which is, we obviously have our own opinions upon that.
Well, the parents do too, because Boosters pays for it.
Right.
They're paying for it basically.
Yeah.
So they should get something they want or love. And there's plenty of photographers around here doing them. I've been doing them for 4 or 5 years. They like it better. I personalize it. Like we're creating
one-on-one with them.
I am. There are some that are like, these are the backdrops, pick them. I actually work with the girls and the moms and create the backdrop for them. And then we import the girls onto them. And they can have 1 or 2 images they get to pick. And then they actually get the image as well in the end of it. So it's great. Yeah. We're not going to have that anymore. At least here. I mean, if some other school district wants a banner, I'm here. But
you're there. You're available.
But it's becoming it is becoming a topic in the school district that I think some parents are going to try to fight.
Let's hope. I hope that gets overturned for sure for you and for any other photographer that does banners, because that's a good chunk of your business. And
well, and for the kids too.
And you already are working with that senior all year long. They already have trust in you. You know what they like. They trust you with what they like. And
they're actually getting stuff they like when they're using, and even when we were with the other company before COVID, they had to get them through there. They're not editing the blemishes off their face. They're basically just throwing them on. They're half the time not even lighting them right. So they look really crappy and whatever, and so they all hate them, and they don't even get to pick their image.
Oh, they don't?
No. So my daughter's boyfriend for golf, I did not get to do because he had to go with the photographer, and he didn't even get to pick the image, and it sucked. So
that's horrible. That's not fair.
It's not fair to the kids. No. I think that should be overturned. In my opinion.
Agreed. All right. Yeah. If you live in the area, say something.
If you're in Wentzville, hit up the school district.
Yes. For me, what am I excited for? I'm currently working on, I went to my pet shelter last Friday, and That was my first time going to the shelter since I went to Shutterfest and went to the shelter photo class, which I got some tips and tricks. And one thing I went away with that I decided to do was any dog that had been in the shelter over 100 days, I wanted to spend more time on and give more pictures of. And yeah, we did that. There was unfortunately, about 7 dogs that had been there over 100 days, a few of them over 200 days that we spent more time on. And I got close-ups, pulled back, sit down, lay down, like catching a treat, all the different combinations, and hoping to give them more to kind of get them adopted easier. So that happened last Friday. So that's not something to look forward to, but something that I'm hoping will really help those dogs get adopted.
What's the rescue?
The rescue is called No Time to Spare Animal Sanctuary. It's located out of Warrenton, Missouri.
There we go.
If you are local to the area, they are amazing. They're obviously a no-kill shelter, and they're amazing to work with. Carol is the owner of the rescue, and she's got plenty of amazing volunteers: Peyton, Donna, Lisa, Linda, to just name the few off the top of my head that have been amazing. My mom just adopted a dog from them. That was yep. Anyways, I went off a tangent.
It's fine. I mean, that's the
we
thing.
talk about dogs, and I just got off on a tangent.
Yeah, that's your thing.
But then I have a newborn session on Thursday. You know, it's so funny. I always have my newborn sessions in 3s, and it happens every time.
Huh.
It doesn't
Maybe that
matter
should be your lucky number.
when they're...
Don't they say deaths happen in 3s? So maybe births happen in 3s.
Things in general happen in 3s. Yes. It doesn't matter when their due date was, if it was a week out, a week before, or right now. They all happen around each other. And I've had 2 already over the last 2 weeks. And this will be my 3rd one. So they always happen in 3. So yeah, I have a newborn session on Thursday. And this is my family. This is their number 4 child.
Okay. Nice.
And when she told me she was pregnant, I was like,
oh, you're going again.
So happy for you, but you're going for number 4. Got it. All right, let's do this. But yes, I'm excited to share those pictures. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you guys, I guess we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
It was nice speaking to you all. We will be back in a week with, you might have us again. It just kind of depends on how we get our interviews lined up. We kind of just wanted to recap right now because
everything that's
we've been
going on,
busy and everything.
Yes.
But next time, if you have just us, we'll probably have a specific subject.
Yeah, we'll have a topic
that we're going to talk about. So,
and again, if you want to be a guest or you have a topic, go ahead and fill out the form online.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So we're going to cheers.
Cheers.
Before we go, can you do us a small favor? Go online right now and share this episode with one friend who you think will love it. And while you're at it, we'd love for you to leave us a review. It really helps us reach more photographers like you. Also, don't forget to check out the show notes. We've got a free guide waiting for you when you subscribe. It's called 5 Ways to Get More Photography Clients, and it's packed with actionable tips to help you grow your business. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time on Wind Down and Focus.